There comes a moment in every person's life when the noise fades, the distractions disappear, and one question rises above everything else. What happens when this life is over? Most people avoid that question. Some fear it. Others pretend it doesn't exist. But every heartbeat is moving us closer to a reality we cannot escape. And today, we're going to talk about a truth that few people understand, a truth that Clint Eastwood himself hinted at. Not with fear, but with clarity, with honesty, and with the kind of wisdom that comes from a lifetime of experience. This isn't just another motivational message. This is a wake-up call, a reminder that your life, your choices, your character, and your faith are shaping something far bigger than the world you see. If you think you already know what waits beyond the grave, think again. Most people have no idea what eternity is carefully watching, recording, and preparing, so stay with me. Stay engaged, because by the end of this message, you won't just understand what lies ahead. You understand what you must do now while you still have breath, strength, and time. This isn't about fear. It's about purpose. It's about truth. It's about discovering the kind of light that echoes into eternity. Life after death isn't meant to create fear. It's meant to create urgency in how we live today. When people hear about eternity, they often imagine punishment, judgment, or the unknown, and that fear becomes their focus. But the real message isn't about being scared of what comes next. It's about understanding the value of the life you're living right now. Every sunrise you witness, every decision you make, every act of kindness or selfishness, every moment of honesty or compromise is shaping the story that will follow you beyond the grave. Eternity is not a threat. It's a reminder that your time here is limited, precious, and deeply meaningful. When you recognize that life after death is real, it forces you to look at your priorities differently. Suddenly, grudges feel small. Arguments lose their power. Material things don't seem as important. You begin to see that the real wealth is not in your bank account, but in your character. The urgency doesn't push you to panic. It pushes you to become intentional. It pushes you to forgive faster, love deeper, and serve without expecting anything in return. It challenges you to live with integrity when no one is watching, because you understand that there is a greater purpose beyond the applause or criticism of people. Fear traps you. Urgency awakens you. Fear makes you hide from truth. Urgency makes you run toward it. When you understand eternity correctly, you stop wasting your life on distractions, temporary pleasures, and meaningless battles. You start investing in what matters: faith, kindness, growth, accountability, and the people you love. Life after death is not a shadow hanging over you. It's a light showing you how to live fully while you still have breath. Most people underestimate the weight of their daily choices and how they shape eternity, because they think only the big, dramatic moments define their spiritual destiny. But in reality, the small decisions, the ones you make quietly, consistently, and often without thinking, carry more influence than you realize. Every choice is like a seed. Some seeds grow into peace, character, compassion, and faith. Others grow into bitterness, pride, selfishness, and regret. Most people don't see the long-term impact because the results are not immediate. Eternity doesn't announce itself loudly in the moment. It reveals itself through the accumulation of the life you live. Every time you choose honesty when it would be easier to lie, you shape your character. Every time you choose forgiveness when you have every reason to hold a grudge, you shift something inside your soul. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, growth over laziness, prayer over distraction, you're not just improving your life, you're aligning it with something eternal. People tend to believe that eternity is determined by one final judgment, but in truth, eternity is shaped moment by moment through the habits, intentions, and attitudes you carry daily. The choices you make in private matter just as much as the choices you make in public. The decision to help someone who cannot repay you. The decision to let go of anger before it poisons you. The decision to speak life instead of negativity. These are the decisions that echo beyond the grave. You are building your eternity with every step you take. The tragedy is that many people are living as if their daily choices don't count, as if life is random and disconnected from what comes after. But nothing is wasted. Every action is recorded in the depth of your spirit. Eternity isn't waiting to judge you. It's being shaped by you every single day. True peace comes from living with purpose, forgiveness, and accountability before God, because peace is not something you stumble upon. It's something you build with intention. Many people search for peace in success, relationships, money, or comfort, yet they still feel restless deep inside. That restlessness comes from living without alignment. When your actions don't match your purpose, when your heart carries old wounds, and when your life lacks accountability, your soul quietly reminds you that something is missing. Peace doesn't come from avoiding problems. It comes from facing who you are and choosing to grow into who God designed you to be. Purpose gives your life direction. When you know why you're here, you stop chasing every distraction. You stop comparing yourself to others because you understand that your path is unique. Purpose pushes you to wake up with intention instead of drifting through life. You begin to see challenges not as obstacles, but as invitations to strengthen your faith and character. Without purpose, even a good life feels empty. With purpose, even difficult seasons carry meaning. Forgiveness is another essential part of true peace. A heart that refuses to forgive becomes a prison. You carry the weight of anger, bitterness, and resentment, and it steals your joy day by day. Forgiveness isn't about excusing what happened. It's about freeing yourself from what happened. When you forgive, you create space for healing. You allow God to restore what pain tried to destroy. Accountability before God grounds your life. It reminds you that you are responsible for your words, your actions, and the way you treat people. Accountability keeps you humble. It keeps you honest. It keeps you growing. Peace comes when you know you are living in alignment with truth, letting go of what burdens your heart, and walking daily with integrity. You can't hide who you really are from eternity. Your character follows you beyond the grave because everything you do, everything you believe, and everything you choose leaves an imprint on your soul. People often focus on appearances, reputation, and how others see them, but eternity is not impressed by the image you project. It sees your intentions, your honesty, your secret battles, and the choices you make when no one is watching. You can fool people, you can hide your weaknesses, and you can cover your mistakes, but you cannot hide the truth of your character from the life that comes after this one. Character is built through the quiet, unnoticed moments. The decision to tell the truth when lying would protect you. The decision to be kind when you have every reason not to be. The decision to stay faithful when temptation calls. The decision to put others first even when you feel unseen. These are the moments that shape who you are. Eternity isn't concerned with your achievements, your social status, or how many people applauded you. Eternity cares about whether you lived with integrity, whether you treated people with dignity, and whether your life reflected the values you claim to believe. The world teaches people to polish their image while ignoring their inner life, but eternity doesn't care about poses or performances. It measures authenticity, not popularity. It measures humility, not ego. It measures love, not noise. The person you secretly nurture inside, your thoughts, your motivations, your private decisions, that's the person eternity will meet. This is why developing character matters more than chasing applause. Your outer life ends at the grave, but your inner life continues. Who you are when the spotlight is off is the version of you that eternity remembers. Faith isn't about religion. It's about transformation, discipline, and obedience, because true faith is meant to change you from the inside out, not just place you inside a belief system. Many people confuse faith with rituals, labels, or traditions, thinking that belonging to a certain group or attending certain events is enough. But faith was never meant to be a decoration. It was meant to be a force that shapes your character, your decisions, and your entire way of living. Real faith doesn't stay on the surface. It reaches into your habits, your mindset, your priorities, and how you treat people. It challenges you to grow, to confront your weaknesses, and to surrender your life to a higher purpose. Transformation happens when faith becomes personal. It's not something you inherit or borrow. It's something you experience. When you truly believe, your thoughts begin to shift, your heart begins to soften, and your actions begin to reflect what you claim to value. You start letting go of bitterness, pride, and self-destruction. You begin embracing discipline, humility, and responsibility. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. It happens through daily decisions, even small ones, that align your life with what you know is right. Discipline is another essential part of faith. It means showing up even when it's hard. It means praying when you don't feel like praying, choosing integrity when temptation is loud, and staying focused when distractions pull at you. Discipline produces strength. It builds a foundation that isn't shaken by emotions or circumstances. Obedience is where faith becomes action. It means trusting God enough to follow his direction even when you don't understand it fully. It means letting his truth guide your choices instead of letting temporary desires control you. When faith is lived out through transformation, discipline, and obedience, it becomes more than belief. It becomes a lifestyle that shapes your eternity. Heaven is not earned by perfection, but by sincere alignment with God's truth while you're alive, because no human being can live flawlessly. And God never expected perfection as the requirement for eternity. If perfection were the standard, no one would make it. Instead, what matters most is the sincerity of your heart, the direction of your life, and your willingness to walk in truth even when you stumble. People often believe that mistakes disqualify them, that failures push them away from God, or that they must display a spotless life to be worthy of heaven. But heaven is not a reward for those who never fell. It is the destination for those who kept getting back up with honesty, humility, and faith. Alignment with God's truth means living in a way that reflects his teachings, choosing love over hatred, forgiveness over revenge, honesty over deception, and compassion over judgment. It means letting his wisdom shape your choices instead of being driven by impulses or pressure. This alignment is not about acting holy in front of others. It's about striving to live with integrity behind closed doors, admitting your faults, seeking growth, and correcting yourself when you see your heart drifting. God honors sincerity because sincerity leads to transformation. You don't reach heaven by pretending to be righteous. You reach it by genuinely pursuing righteousness. Even when you fall short, what matters is your desire to grow, your willingness to change, and your openness to God's guidance. The person who seeks truth sincerely, even with flaws, is closer to heaven than the one who appears perfect but hides dishonesty inside. Heaven is about relationship, not performance. It is about the direction of your life, not the illusion of perfection. God looks at the heart, the intentions, the humility, and the effort. When your life is aligned with his truth, even imperfectly, you walk a path that leads beyond the grave into eternity. In the end, what truly matters is not how long we live, but how honestly and purposefully we live. Eternity isn't a distant mystery meant to frighten us. It's a reminder that every choice we make, every moment we breathe, and every piece of character we build shapes who we become beyond this life. We don't have to be perfect, but we do have to be sincere. We do have to live with integrity, courage, forgiveness, discipline, and faith that reaches deeper than words. When you align your life with truth, when you let God shape your heart, and when you choose purpose over comfort, you create a legacy that doesn't end at the grave. Eternity remembers who you truly are, not who you pretended to be. So live boldly, love deeply, forgive quickly, and walk in the kind of faith that transforms you day by day. That is the path that leads to real peace, real purpose, and a life that echoes forever. Good luck on your journey. May wisdom guide your steps, and may hope fill your heart every single day. Thank you for listening, and thank you for choosing growth, truth, and purpose.